Dustin Poirier has fired back at both Paddy Pimblett and Nate Diaz. As Dustin gets ready for his final walk to the octagon, he confirmed that he and the UFC are close to finalizing it. While there had been talk about a potential fight with Paddy Pimblett, Dustin shot that down. He made it clear that for his last fight, he only wants to face another UFC legend. Nate Diaz responded to Dustin by reposting his quote to his Instagram story. He wrote, "Fight Paddy pussy, he better than you." Paddy Pimblett then responded to Nate. He wrote, "Nate Diaz knows his shit. He's a real G. Dustin Poirier fought Benoit Saint Denis when he's ranked 12, but not me. You know what would happen." Dustin fired back at both Nate and Paddy. He wrote, "You guys will try to attach your name to anything for clout and clicks, but guess what? It's legends only." Eric Nicksick wasn't happy with Sean Strickland's performance at UFC 312. Throughout the fight, Eric kept telling Strickland to pick up the pace and do more in between rounds, but Strickland didn't listen. Nicksick called the performance uninspiring and made it clear that Strickland might need to think about his future in MMA. He said he wants to coach fighters who are committed to becoming world champions, not just those chasing a paycheck.
I mean, we have to be real. Like, it just was a very underwhelming performance and an opportunity to fight for a title. You know, there's people in this sport that never even realize that potential to ever even be an opportunity to fight for a championship. That should be enough to get you motivated, to get you off the couch. So, you know, it just to me was we didn't perform. You know, so that's all. It's on all of us. It's on me as a coaching staff. It's on Jon, and you know, I think he needs to evaluate what he wants to do in this sport. If it's just to make money, then that's great. Let us know. You know, I want to coach world champions. So my motivations are different. You know, so I think that, you know, just to kind of show up and do that and you know, not really back it up, just to me was just kind of uninspiring. It just seemed like he was sleepwalking. You know, yeah, it was tough, man. I was just trying to dig him out of it. You know, through the rounds, I didn't know if he was trying to collect data in the beginning or if it was just a slow start or what was going on. But, you know, as the rounds began to progress, I can just tell that it just didn't feel like he was in it the way most of the times that he is. So, yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough 25 minutes to travel all the way out there. You know, and like, man, let's not forget, this is a title fight. And I take these title fights very seriously. And you know, just, I don't know. I was just disappointed, man. I was disappointed with the whole entire outcome, the whole fight as a process. Just thought it was just kind of flat.
After Eric Nicksick's interview, he faced some backlash. Many felt he should have addressed his concerns with Sean Strickland behind closed doors instead of speaking out publicly. Belal Muhammad stepped up to defend Nicksick, saying he was totally justified in making those comments. He also took a shot at Strickland, once again arguing that Sean didn't deserve the title shot in the first place.
I see a lot of people trying to come at Coach Eric for this and tell him that he shouldn't have did that. And I'm like, bro, he's one of the best coaches in the world. And he didn't fluff anything up. So shout out to him for not like faking anything or coming up with an excuse like we've seen some other coaches come up with, you know, giving excuses for their fighters. He said it, and everybody saw it. So there's like nothing to hide about it. Like, he didn't put no effort into there. He didn't go all in. He didn't go for the kill. And these coaches want the victory just as bad as the fighter, especially if they're passionate and the work they put in, because they're putting in work weekly for these fighters. They're taking away time from their family. You know, he's taking away time from his gym to go all the way to Australia, fly 20 hours to go out there, and this dude's literally not doing anything to try to win the fight. So it's like, did I just waste my time coming all the way out here? He's a competitor too. He wants to win every fight. They never want to lose. Coaches are competitors too. He's a big competitor. Him winning a belt, that's another title under his reign, under his coaching. And he sees all these other younger fighters in his gym, or even older fighters in his gym that never got the opportunity to fight for a belt, that would die for that opportunity to fight for the belt and go all in. And he just saw this guy waste it and not do anything for it, and didn't put it all on the line. So I understand why he's passionate about it, why he's angry about it. And people that don't understand it are just not competitors. They've never competed in anything. They're just losers that just want to hate or cry, or usually probably got participation trophies. So shout out to Coach Eric. Like I said, one of the best coaches. And I never want to I never want to give my coach the thought of being disappointed that I didn't go all in. But I also think that's what happens when guys get undeserved title shots, unearned title shots. They didn't have to really work for it, so they know there's just a chance that they could just get it at any moment. So they don't go all in with it. They don't put it all on the line for it. So now I'm hoping that the UFC stops giving out these fake title shots to these clowns that don't deserve it.
Jorge Masvidal knew the flying knee would work on Ben Askren. He recently explained how a moment during the weigh-ins before their 2019 fight gave him the strategy. Jorge recalled startling Askren as he walked into the bathroom, which made him realize that when the fight started, Askren would probably freeze up and go straight for a takedown. That, he knew, would create the perfect opening for his flying knee. The rest is history. He knocked Askren out just 5 seconds into the first round, delivering one of the most viral knockouts in UFC history.
When I see you, I'll address you. So the first time I see him, I watch him. He's like, oh, he's about to cut the corner. So I hide like this, and I wait for him to pass me. And I jump up, and I go, what's up, motherfucker? You've been talking a lot of shit. And his initial thing is to freeze up, right? So I know, okay, adaptation skills, 0, right? But what all that shit you've been saying, I'm just going to the bathroom, I gotta wash my hands, brother. And I go, no, fuck all that, talk that shit now. And I'm trying to, just rile him up before he goes into the bathroom. Talk that shit now that you be saying. Let me hear it, bro. I'm not gonna touch you, just fucking let me hear it. No, man, I gotta use my hands. You're a very tough guy. And he walks away, and I go, okay, adaptation, not the best. Now, I get like a little sick because I after the weigh-ins, I fucking ate too much this, or I drank too much cold water, so I was like throwing up, and I wasn't feeling the best, and it was taking me a little bit of time to get now to the ceremonial weigh-in, because this is right when it started to happen. So literally, when I get to the UFC event, then I'm good. I'm behind the curtains. We're literally the next people to go up on stage, so he thought I wasn't coming for a fact. He's 100%, he's like, nah, he's not coming. I pull open that fucking curtain, and the first person I see is Ben Askren. And he fucking takes a shit in his pants. I see it in his face. He's like, I go, you didn't think I was coming to this fucking ceremony when I'm only here to tell you I'm gonna fucking knock you dead. You're gonna be looking at those lights. You've been talking all that shit, but you can't talk it now. And I'm really just doing this to see how he acts. And this guy's stiff as a corpse, like a deer in lights. He's not talking. He's just like a stiff old brother, like this. And I'm over here, and he's like this. And I'm this is all on video. UFC has it on video. I'm not lying. I'm going 2 minutes just talking shit, trying to get a reaction at him. And he's like this, frozen in time. You ever heard like, hey, if you see a wild animal, don't look him in the eyes, that's Ben. He's like that. And I'm fucking talking mad shit, and I go, all right, I think I got this guy figured out, man. So I go back home, and I do my math, and I talk to my coach. I tell him, hey, we're going to do this technique, and we're going to do it how you were thinking. I'm just going to chill, and then I'm going to run at him. Because when I run at him, that change of speed, it's going to disrupt the system, and he's going to go to his original format, right? Back to factory settings, which is what? Crotch sniffing.
Yeah, wrestling.
Not even wrestling, crotch sniffing. Because his first shot's always like, let me just get a leg. Let me Hail Mary this leg.
Factory settings.
I go, if this motherfucker does that, he's dead. Because whether I hit him in the chin or in the collarbone, in the shoulder, this knee's going to rip him up.
Dominick Cruz recently opened up about the challenges he faced in his career. He revealed that 2 shoulder dislocations within an 8-month period forced him to withdraw from his scheduled fight with Rob Font. Unfortunately, these injuries ultimately led to the end of his MMA career. In a recent appearance on the Anik and Florian podcast, Cruz took a moment to apologize to Rob Font for having to pull out of the fight. Dom said, I had one dislocation about 8 weeks prior to this recent one that I posted, and that one kind of set the stage that I'm on a different kind of timeline than just age, which I really didn't add to the equation. It was more just like, I feel good, I'm still fast, all these things. So then your shoulder falls out, and then you're like, okay, I rehabbed it for 6 weeks straight, and then I went and sparred with Jeremy Stevens and a few other pro boxers just to see where it was really at. After the rehab I had done, and I did really well. I felt really good. Nothing messed with me at all after that. I booked the fight, and then they offered me Rob Font. So that's why I was like, I should just take it. I'm not going to get in better shape. I feel amazing still. Now, I felt amazing before the second dislocation, and that's why I took the fight. So, sorry, Rob Font as well. I respect the guy. He's done a lot in the sport himself and done a lot of big things. So nobody wants to pull out as a pro fighter because it sets somebody else off too. It sets the fans off. It sets the fighter off. It's more than just me when you pull out. And that's why I didn't want to do it, but I knew I was on borrowed time, to put it quickly. Ilia Topuria is looking sharp in some newly released training footage that he posted to his social media. Although he is not currently scheduled for a fight, rumors suggest that he may be defending his featherweight title in a rematch against Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 314.
Bien tapadito, Buenas.
Ray Longo and Jon Anik recently pointed out the similarities between Dricus du Plessis and Merab Dvalishvili. After Dricus' dominant win over Sean Strickland, both Longo and Anik noticed that Dricus and Merab share similar mindsets. They both tend to get stronger as the fight goes on.
But, you know, Strickland didn't really make any adjustments. He still stayed behind the jab, and, you know, his defense was pretty good. But the other guy just doesn't stop. He is like a Merab.
Yeah. Yes.
Chelsea, get this guy out.
No, it's fine. It's fine, Ray. We're not picking it up. It's fine. I'm just having fun with you. It's fine.
That's all right.
You're right. The only comp I had, Kenny, for DDP was Merab. That's all I kept thinking. They're the only guys I can compare it to each other.
Yeah, no, he's got, because, you know, they don't look, well, Merab's grappling looks good, but his striking's really coming around too. So, but it's the same thing. You can't deter these guys, and they get stronger as the fight goes on. That's the major takeaway, is that, you know, you got to be prepared for 5 rounds of a guy in your face, not knowing where those kicks are landing. I mean, he's just throwing, they spin elbows. He doesn't give a shit. He's got the balls to step in the pocket and do whatever he wants to do. And Strickland really, I think Nicksick did a good job. You gotta get your cross going. You gotta work the box. You know, you want to box him. You gotta box him, not just with the jab. He's got a great jab and he can do that, but he should use that to set up for everything else he does. And I think he's so used to it. It just looks like when I watch his sparring videos, he's doing the same thing. That's ingrained in him, and I think that could be a problem where he's not coming out of that. You know.
Colby Covington might have leaked some details about the upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter. Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen are set to be the season's coaches, and Chael recently announced that Colby would be joining his coaching staff. However, during a recent Twitch live stream, Colby seemed to accidentally reveal that Forrest Griffin will make a surprise appearance as a guest coach on the show. On the same live stream, Colby also took the opportunity to mock Jon Jones, referencing the infamous incident where Jon hid under the cage at his gym to avoid a drug test, a story in which Jon confirmed to be true back in 2020, explaining that he had just smoked a blunt and feared failing the test for marijuana at the UFC PI. Colby taunted Jon by going under a boxing ring and pretending to look for him.
Oh, you know what this boxing ring just reminded me of, guys? We should probably look under it to see if Jon Jones is there, just like when he hid there from USADA. Guys, let's go look if Jon Jones is there. Johnny boy! Johnny, are you here? Are you here, Jon? Jon, are you hiding from USADA and the doping agency? Jon, are you under there? Jon Jones, where are you? I know you like to hide under rings away from the drug lords. Are you still failing your steroid test? Well, sorry guys. I thought Jon Jones would be there. He loves to hide under rings so much. Guy's a scumbag.
Carlos Condit recently shared a story on the Jackson podcast about Jon Jones getting dropped during a training session. It happened years ago at the Jackson Wink MMA gym. Carlos and Jon both sparred with Adlan Amagov, a Russian welterweight who had a record of 14-2. Carlos revealed that Amagov dominated him during their sparring session. He then went on to spar Jon Jones, and Amagov allegedly dropped Jon with a spinning back kick. Rampage asked Carlos if he's ever seen Jon get bested in the gym. Carlos replied, I have. Yeah, the same guy fucked me up the round right before too. It was like Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. sparring. We're in there tipping and tapping. We get this dude. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Adlan Amagov. He's a Chechen dude. He fought in the UFC a couple of times. I think in his last fight, they carried his opponent out on a stretcher. He finished a number of guys. He was like a spinning back kick guy. He fucked me up. And then I think a round or two later he hit Jon with that spinning back kick. He dropped him. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos.